a wedding dress, a deadline, and absolutely no room for mistakes. Welcome to a new episode of the most difficult project of my life. Have you ever been so confident and so wrong at the same time? Well, that is exactly what happened with this commission. Being asked to transform this 90s wedding dress was such an honor. But I have to be honest, I barely made it. The first step was peanuts, or at least that's what I thought. Removing the skirt from the bodice was easy, not realizing this was the last moment of peace I was about to have in weeks. Removing the lace was sort of a disaster. 10 centimeters took me 30 minutes. My math isn't very good, but I had to do this for about 3 meters. So I decided to go for the aggressive approach and cut everything out, because I also still had to remove all the decolored sequins by hand. FYI, I was still having fun, don't get me wrong. However, I did get hurt during the process, but that aside, finding the right position for the lace was my favorite, up until the point I found some permanent memories. At this point I was emotionally negotiating with the fabric, but Diego got my back and borrowed me thousands of his quills to tame this lace, because it wasn't listening. And then, to make my life a little worse, I decided to only do French seams on this garment, which looking back was the best idea ever. The proof that suffering sometimes pays off. I have been quietly panicking for weeks, but since I'm a sewing masochist, that was the fun part. There was no plan B, only accuracy. 1 centimeter wrong and the whole thing was over. When I say I barely made it, I mean it. This belt had 0 centimeters of wiggle room, and I had to patchwork it together from the last scraps of fabric. And that's how you turn an emotional roller coaster into art. It feels slightly sad and surprisingly magical to unfold a new era and to end an old one. And also slightly terrifying, if we're being honest. But I think it was totally worth it. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. Am I proud? Absolutely yes. If you ever get the chance, do it. The best projects are the ones you're afraid to mess up. Let me know what you think, lovelies. See you in the next episode. Bye.